Hello. Couldn't sleep this morning, so I thought I'd go ahead and just do a little quiet labeling, maybe just some comic talk, comic news as it pertains to me. It's 4:45 a.m. Monday, March 28th. I'm working on the Dragon books. I just saw the closest thing they've done to an update for next weekend's Wondercon. They haven't really wanted to commit to much. I guess it's gonna run April Fool's Day through the 2nd and 3rd. So I saw the special guests, and then I looked at the artists alley, and there was some nice names. I like Chrissy Zulo, and I saw Jason Martin, who worked on Vamp Blade, and Princess Star Thief is going to be there. He left Action Lab at the end of last year, understandably. But I looked a little closer. Let me see. Angelo's Comics is going to be a vendor. I like Angelo, but I don't think there's too much going on for me to miss work. I don't believe my right-hand man Airborne is going to be attending, so this just kind of feels like a let the con get back on its feet show. This is more about just, can they do it? And, Long Beach Convention, or Anaheim Convention Center, it's a nice venue. This is just kind of let them get back to it. And I'm rooting for a successful show. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't really seem like I need to be there. I mean, obviously a lot of great people I've met before. Topo Chico's getting hard to come by, and it's getting expensive, almost $2 a bottle, so Mineragua it is. That's not bad. Who else is going to be there? I think Frank Cho. I think I saw his name, I'm not sure. The main headliner is for people who really follow Scotty Young. He's going to be there. I saw some names that I've heard, kind of uttered amongst the community that people I don't really know. I saw the name Tula Lote. I saw, obviously, Chris Dominga is going to be right there with Chrissy Zulo. Kevin Eastman was announced. I've had the pleasure of meeting Kevin. He's a good guy. The time I met him in LA, though, I waited 3 hours in line. He gave like this free Michael Moret comic of Raphael. So I had someone who I was getting a book signed for. I wound up sending them my best copy of the Michael Moret, and they They wound up selling it. I just happened to upon it on eBay. I was gonna buy it off their store. I asked my brother, would that be too melodramatic? And he said, no, you should do it. Because as it stood, I wound up getting Michael Merritt to sign that book, and I had him sign kind of my copy that got wrecked from being in my bag. What else? Rafael Navarro, I've met him several times. I met him first at a free comic day years ago. List of things to do tomorrow. I have to do a what is it called? General safety training. And this used to be a class that they'd have at the company, but since the pandemic, they've turned it into a computer online portal. So I'm gonna do it that way. Gotta make a day of it. Fortunately, it pays the most basic wage. I'd like to get Eric Larson out here some year, something. I mean, he was here a couple years ago, but not at like a major con. I met him at a small little venue. I thought I had him sign this one. Jay Lee is not going to be at the Wondercon. Why not? I was surprised to see Jason Martin. He lives in Oregon. I know Tats met him several times. He doesn't strike me as a really nice guy. I know Dan doesn't really. Dan Mendoza doesn't really, I don't believe keeps in touch with him. I don't feel like he was really nice to my brother Tat. Tat had brought up to Jason Martin that he'd met him before, and Jason Martin sort of had this you can't expect me to remember everyone I meet attitude about it. Tat's cool. Tat shrugged it off. He just, I feel like when people get defensive like that and the other person gets defensive, it gets bad. But when someone's cool, it's alright, and that's Tat. He's cool. So, what we got here? Now, this sounds like what? No, this is a show. Get a load of that. Wow. What the hell? Wizard World, Chicago. Oh, man. That's funny. I got a boss named Kevin, and I've got a boss named Nash. Unbelievable. They don't make them like that anymore. So yeah, I'm sure just a lot of stuff's going to be really expensive next weekend. All these vendors, they've probably been getting their books ready because they know the market's high right now. Good for them. If they made it, they kept going with it. They deserve to persevere. I just love seeing Eric Larson's evolution on these. Okay, what do you guys think? Do we need a new bag here? Yeah, probably. I've got about 100 bagging boards. I've been kind of saving them. I went into a comic store in Fullerton very briefly on last Friday, actually. Fat Collectibles on Imperial Highway. It's just kind of a dive. I went in there, and the same annoying guy I used to see at the other location wouldn't let me just walk out. He had to basically try to get cute with me, and I just had to get out of there. I went in real briefly to see if they had Jim Ma Foods Girl Scouts, which of course they don't, because they carry the big two, and that's about it. So I'm trying to leave, and a customer had just rung up, so this guy was all freed up at the register and wanted to make a big deal out of himself, and I just wasn't having it. I have one shop that I like to go to right now. I gotta see it. Get my copy of Girl Scouts. Some of these back covers are kind of nice. Oh man, I should be sleeping like a log. Pardon the cocaine. No, I wouldn't even think I'd be sleeping. My hours are messed up right now. I work nights, and sometimes it gets even worse. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on at Artist Alley. Like I said, I saw some names I recognized. It's kind of a big show, though, and it kind of has the roster of a real low-profile con. So, I guess that's just the way they're getting back on their feet. Maybe they will get more people that just didn't want to commit. I don't know. The sun's gonna be up in about 2 hours. I watched some Angry Video Game Nerd last night. That was kind of relaxing. I hadn't watched it this year. Got caught up. It might be a little better. I'm not landing these very straight because I'm looking through the camera optic. We're on 66. I'm like doing this through AI. Okay, 66 from 99. I was 19. I was a lot lighter. I was pretty much doing the same thing as I do now. Basically the same guy. Boy, for the first time, like since ever, I went on Facebook and looked up a couple of old names, people from high school, which is like never good, because I think like the era of people tracking down long lost friends on Facebook is kind of past. I think people are sort of over it. I know I tried to like meet some old neighbors like a couple years ago, and it had no novelty for them. They're like, yeah, I remember you, what of it? But I looked up a couple of names because I finally like remembered. It has to be kind of people that have really specific last names and such. You can't really like find a John Taylor or something like that. Unless it's like Jonathan Taylor Thomas. If you knew him, you could track him down. But so I looked up a couple of people who had really specific, I guess you'd call them ethnic last names. And I found them, and I was really happy to see like, oh, this person just had a kid. They look about the same. Oh, this dude, I remember him. He was real shy. Looks like he's got a couple of kids. Oh, he's separated. Cool, single dad. Good for him. And like, I was like, wow. This is like the first time I've ever like felt halfway decent about going on Facebook and doing that. So that was pretty cool. I cashed in my chips and I got off of Facebook, and it was like, wow, that sometimes sometimes it's all right. But in general, that is really bad to do, right? It's like it never goes well. Beautiful. So this was coming out monthly at this time. These dates are pretty tight. Pretty cool. I swear for years, I didn't even see Savage Dragon. And then I later found out that it was kind of one of those books that, along with Spawn, when Todd really was not involved or interested in the book at all, wasn't even really writing it. He was focused on The Walking Dead merchandise and McFarlane toys. He wasn't really even drawing. When the print runs went kind of low, and it was sort of the book that people got if it was on their pool. And the same thing with Savage Dragon. So you could go to a comic store the day a book, maybe not this one, it was still probably selling at this point, but later on, and you could probably go there day of and not see a copy. Yeah, I had a really good end of the month on eBay. I knocked off some real grails. I've got some videos pre-recorded, mostly like statues and things. Stuff just came in, and oh my god, I don't even know how to describe like contentment as a collector. It's such a funny thing. You never really know how to feel about it, because honestly, from a collector's standpoint, having nothing left to pursue is kind of collecting death, but at the same time, when you get the pieces that allow you to no longer have to look for specific things, man, it really frees your mind up. And it was kind of like when Zombie Tramp ended and Invader Zim comic ended, and the only ongoing series that I still collect that haven't concluded are Savage Dragon, but that's on hiatus till June. And I'll get Terra Witch the Black Rose. As far as like everything else, it's like all my hang-ups are subsided, It's kind of like freed me up. So I'm not saying I'm looking for the next big thing. You always you always kind of have things that you never thought you'd find, But as my dad used to say, the day you stop looking is the day you die. So, I haven't given up. I don't know what to say, man. It's like, it's crazy, It feels so good to just like, when it comes to collecting, to be good. It makes me just want to protect what I have. Because, man, I look at the stuff that's coming out, and I'm like, there's nothing for me. Like I told Weapons X Squall on Instagram, I saw he had a week where he got like 12 books pulled. And he said, man, what'd you guys get? There was so much stuff this week. I'm paraphrasing. He's like, what were your pickups? And I told him, man, I went to the shop and I didn't see anything. There was nothing for me. And he said, well, not verbatim, but he goes, oh, I kind of find that hard to believe. There's always at least something to read. And I just kind of thought, no, not for me. I didn't see anything. So, I don't know. And that isn't to say, I realize the big two still put out fun stuff all the time. Like, for example, this upcoming week I saw that they're resuming the Mike Perkins, Ramsey Swamp Thing. And yeah, that's a DC book I'm up for. So I'm pretty thrilled about that, Resume that collection. Number 69 from 99. Getting towards the end of it, coming up on Y2K. Boy, they advertised for this one on the back of issue 67. This is paying homage to Sin City, Silent Night. Let's see if we've broken in to the year 2000 yet. Oh no, it's going to be December of 99. Issue 70. Yeah. Man, 1999 was a hell of a year for movies. Other than 1994 when Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, and Forrest Gump came out. I think 94 was my favorite year for movies, but 99, look at the stuff that came out that year. We had Office Space, Fight Club, you had Sleepy Hollow. A lot of good movies came out in 99. It's a really good year. I was completely into Alfred Hitchcock movies at this time. They had just done a retrospective for his 100th birthday. I think he was born right about the turn of the century. So they did this special on Encore called Dial H for Hitchcock, narrated by Kevin Spacey. I think American Beauty came out that year. So, talking about Hitch, and I'm learning all these directors. You know, Bryan Singer's talking about him. Brian De Palma is talking about Hitch. Wes Craven. Who's the guy who directed 8 Mile? Curtis Hanson. And I'm learning all about the master of suspense, and they're showing all of his movies. And I'm like taking this crash course in Alfred Hitchcock. It was the coolest thing. And the movie that really, really sealed the deal for me. Well, 2 of them actually, but the main one was Rope. Shot in long, continuous takes. It was based on the Loeb's and Leopold's murdering of just an innocent kid they knew. And Jimmy Stewart, man, plays Rupert Cadell, and he has these students, Brandon and Philip, and I think he was more like the dean of their college, but he mentors them, and he has these kind of wild theories. He's influenced by some of Nietzsche's notions. This was in 1948. This movie came out. And so Jimmy Stewart's character, Rupert, let's do it back while I'm talking about this. So he's an influence on them because he has these theories that it's okay for certain men to kill other men if they're superior to them. And Brandon and Philip, these students of his, it seem like they're young grad students at this point. They're like in their early 20s. So they're no longer really under Rupert's tutelage. And kind of Rupert realizes that he's impressed upon these young men that killing is okay, but when Rupert finds out that Brandon and Philip actually go through with it, he has this kind of moral breakdown. It's one of Hitch's least known movies. It was a flop at the time. It just had this macabre theme, and it's kind of slow, but technically it's amazing. I love the movie. And I think that might be Hitch's first film in color, in full color. So in 48, that wasn't very common at all. Gotta love those tennies. Fighting this pus monster wearing these sneakers. This was still Paul Dragon. I don't even think... What's his name? Can't think of his kid's name right now. Oh, Malcolm. No, it's not Malcolm, is it? Huh. It's very early in the morning, forgive me. Malcolm Dragon? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, this is still Paul Dragon. Paul Dragon. PD. Yeah, man, this is my therapy. Let's see if I can land this one nice and straight. Good enough. Beautiful. So yeah, man, it's all right. No cons. Hey, if you want to go to cons to buy books, so that's cool. But for me, I like to meet the artists. I already spend all my money on comics on eBay, you know. I I leave myself wanting very little overindulgent on the eBay to start with. Back in the day before I was online shopping, there was more I could do at a con. The first Wondercon I went to, I wasn't even there for comics. I bought toys. I bought like Masters of the Universe classics and stuff like that. That's a nice silhouette. Hey, I think this is helping me get sleepy. Yeah, thanks, guys. Issue 73. Nice warm colors. Let me think. What was I even listening to music in 1989? I really don't think I was. You know what? Yeah, I was. I think Eminem's. That's right. I do recall now. The Marshall Mathers LP dropped in '99. I was listening to that. That year, I think that was about the only album I needed. Can't remember that clearly. I think, yeah, a couple years later, I think I bought the Strokes' first album, Is This It? And the Tenacious D's first album dropped. 1989, I think. No Doubt's Rocksteady might have come out. Nah. 99, it was all about Slim for me, I think. That was kind of a night I remember. My dad took me and a couple of people my age I knew at the time to Tower Records. I bought the Marshall Mathers LP.